So what are bioplastics? On one hand, you have the renewable aspect. We make biopolymers right now, or bioplastics from corn in Nebraska, but you can make bioplastics from a wide variety of plants. So clearly, that is one part of the bioplastics definition. On the other hand, if you look at the end of life, you have products, not always renewable, by the way, or biodegradable, so who you can compost. Clearly also part of the bioplastics. What we do with Ingeo, which is our brand name, we actually combine both. So if we talk to retailers, if we talk to brand owners, if we talk to the government, we clearly have a full story around sustainability. On the front end being renewable, if you compare us to oil, on the back end being compostable, we can also be recycled, so it's really a full value proposition on sustainability. We take CO2 out of the atmosphere, actually to make crops. We take the sugar out of these crops, ferment them, polymerize them, and make them into pellets. And actually our pellets, if I would show them, look very much the same like your oil-based plastics. Then we sell our product to a global customer base, and they make all kinds of fascinating products from them. You will see those in a couple minutes. Why bioplastics? I think I give presentations pretty much all over the world, and this is always, for me, the most essential part of my presentation. Why do we believe bioplastics are important? Clearly an environmental side, and I'll give a couple of examples on that in a minute. But besides the environment, and again, I already mentioned that, economics come to play. We want to be a big player. NatureWorks wants to be a big player in the plastics world, not in the bioplastics world. And in order for us to gain market share in the plastics world, we will have to be economically viable. And we can't just be green. First, talk about the environment. Clearly, we're part of a green wave. And it's, for me, interesting to see that that green wave is not disappearing with the economy going down. I had meetings on Monday in San Francisco and actually talked with the sustainability manager of the city of San Francisco and the sustainability managers of some larger corporations. I realized there that for me and for all of you in this room, it's very normal right now to talk to a sustainability department. Go back 5 years ago, 10 years ago. A lot of people would have had no clue what a sustainability manager was or that person was supposed to do. Now, clearly there is still some greenwashing out there where you have a sustainability department and because of that you're green. But I can tell you, if you look at companies like Walmart, I think a very well-known example. And of course, by now I know the sustainability manager at Walmart reasonably well. It's very hard to get a new product into Walmart if it's not sustainable. And you need data, you need facts. So it's not, she's part at the moment of the product buying decision process. So clearly in companies like Walmart, sustainability is not just a term, it's clearly part of their day-to-day business. By the way, think about government too. Every, I think, couple of months, I get information on initiatives. It's now up to 10 pages. Yeah, so it's not just the United States, it's not just the West Coast. All over the world, people are putting regulation in place to reduce the amount of waste. There is no regulation out there to get more plastic bags. There is regulation out there to get less of them. So clearly also the regulation is part of that green wave. So what are we doing? As I mentioned before, we actually, as biopolymers, as an industry, generate less greenhouse gases to make our products than any other plastic out there. We use less energy to make our products than all plastic out there. Of course, you see the picture of the man in the bottles here. We, at the moment, globally, use about 15 million plastic bottles per hour. And believe me, this is just where we are right now. Think about China getting more middle class in China, getting more middle class in India. So this is clearly not the end. This is clearly not mature. Fortunately, of course, you start to recycle it, but still, think about the amount of plastic waste we generate. And think about the alternatives we can offer, like composting, like chemical recycling. In pink there you see PET in North America, large buyers over the last 10 years. And of course you see PET moving up with oil over that time span. And then of course you just don't have the economics of plant feedstock versus oil feedstock, but also the economics of waste management. Just discussing before the presentation that of course the US is a huge country. You can have a lot of landfills in the US. Europe, clearly a different situation. So there the cost of waste clearly is becoming a bigger picture. We're going to see that over here in the United States too. Yesterday I already mentioned the cost of global warming. Of course, much and much larger than just looking at biopolymers versus oil-based plastics. So who is NatureWorks? What are we doing within our company? If you say you have these two pillars below biopolymers, so on one hand you have environment, on the other hand you have economy, both of them actually tell you we have to lower our dependence on foreign oil. It's actually a pity that Mr. Pickens is no longer here. I was hoping to get a check from him because of what we're doing. Because clearly we're helping reducing the dependence on foreign oil. And then what we're doing, going from oil-based feedstock to plant-based feedstock, is part of that effort to use less and less oil and clearly import less and less oil. So if that's what you want to do, then clearly Ingeo, the product we're making, or PLA, which is the general term, is the proven technology on a large plant scale, as I will show in a minute, to make and produce and sell biopolymers. Now we have a global customer base. We have a global customer base if you look at retailers. And of course, you find our products really and truly all over the world. A couple of announcements I would like to make, even in these very difficult times, doubling our capacity. We're going from 150 million pounds capacity in Nebraska to 300 million pounds. Now, 300 million pounds in the biopolymer world is like the elephant in the room. I think we might represent 80–90% of the capacity out there if you strictly look at biopolymers. We never start out our discussions with customers by saying how green we are. Green, right now, is always a great side benefit. That we're more sustainable, we're renewable, we have end-of-life options. The first thing always have to be that you have to have a performance material. I absolutely do not believe in people out there who say, hey, because it's green, the customer is going to buy it. They won't. Or because it's green, I get ×3 premium. Might work if you're a very small niche business with a very small group of targeted customers. It won't work if you want to sell your product to Walmart. So being a performance plastic, extremely important. I showed you the plastic cup. We have a PLA cup which looks exactly the same. I could show them around. You would not be able to see the difference. So clearly, performing products, very important. And then they have to be appealing to the customer base. Again, just being green is not going to make a customer buy it. And really, most of my time I spent not on how can we make our product greener, because it's plenty green right now, but how can we make our product more cost effective. Where can you find our products? Pretty much all over the world, from highly branded products in the fashion industry to really your disposable cups, or a lot of the food containers you can find in the Walmarts and the Krogers of this world. So you see serviceware, bottles, containers, rigid containers, flexible films and coatings. Actually, films is a great example where from a performance point of view, we're actually superior to oil-based plastic. We're not just as good, we're superior. You start to see us in consumer goods, non-wovens, launches coming up in North America. It has been launched in Korea, Kimberly-Clark with diapers. You're going to start to see tea bags from Lipton, all made from our product.